Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I found this random parking lot because guess what? I really like these trees. And the reason why I like these trees is because of this particular vehicle. We have a new Subaru Outback. This particular one is the Onyx edition and it is the XT trim. But before we get into this lifted wagon, let's talk about what's going on here. So Subaru, it's been around since 1953, if you could believe that. But they have not been selling cars here in North America since 53. It was actually a Canadian by the name of Malcolm Bricklin that was the first to bring Subaru to North America in the 1960s. What's interesting is that if you Google, use the interwebs, Malcolm Bricklin, he actually designed his own vehicle in the 1970s called the Bricklin. Now, what's great about the Outback, it's been around since 1995 here in the United States and has really been that go-to for people who really didn't want an SUV. And at the time, really, SUVs were not at the forefront in the 90s. Wagons were still kind of doing their thing, but even in the 21st century, there's a plethora of SUVs out there. This Outback, being a lifted wagon, still brings that unique identity, but boy, oh boy, is it also bringing all the other goodness that makes a Subaru a Subaru. You're gonna get that all-wheel drive, you're gonna get great interior space, and of course, you're gonna get safety that's second to none. What I wanna talk about is, if you're gonna get an Outback, many different ways to trim it out, is the Onyx edition with the XT setup, which means you're gonna get turbocharged power. Is that the way that I would buy it? And is it the way that you should buy your lifted wagon? Let's go ahead and check it out. Right off the bat, you're gonna notice a redesign. This redesign took place for 2020. So going into 2021, everything is gonna carry over except for a couple things, and I'll point some of those things out to you. Now, when we look at our Onyx edition, I like the way it's gonna be that beautiful pearlescent white with the black accents. That's one of the reasons why I like this trim, especially this color combo. Now, starting up at the front end of the business, you're gonna get those LED daytime running lamps, headlights. Now, what's new for 2021 is you actually have adaptive LED headlights. So those are gonna move with the movement of the steering wheel, gonna help illuminate the road or the off-road in front of you, whether it's really dark or just kind of a little bit cast over, cloudy kind of day. Working your way down, this was all new for 2020, and like I said, carries into 2021. You're gonna get your lower fog lamps. At first I was excited about it, but I am missing the classic round style fog lamps from the previous generation. But what I do like is you're still gonna get the flat black across the whole lower front section here. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna help cut down on wear and tear, especially if you are going on those adventures where you kind of have to go some off-road, because guess what? You are gonna get that full symmetrical all-wheel drive in your Outback, just like you always have since the beginning. Love what they did with the grille design. So you have this nice metallic finish up top, flat black, everything is horizontal, everything is functional. You do have a forward-facing camera, which is great. And I just love that classic Subaru badge. So much history, especially for me being a fan of World Rally Racing, goes back to the great heydays of WRC with Colin McRae, Richard Burns, and Petter Solberg. But as you can see, this Outback has its identity, but they put a little bit of a twist on it. Now, when you get up onto the hood, nice, simple rise in the center, goes towards the windshield. Other than that, you have two body lines, one on each side of the grille that goes right towards the A-pillar. Everything else is clean. They did kind of give a little bit more aggressive styling to the Outback compared to the previous generation for sure. Now, when we come around the bend, you'll notice that flat black comes around the wheel wells. That's part of that unique design of the Outback. Not too high, not too low, kind of just right. I'm loving these wheels. These are the wheels specific to the Onyx edition. So this is an 18-inch wheel. I love the gunmetal metallic finish on them. It's kind of got a nice like twisting action to it. Very classy with the white combo of our particular setup. And if you're wondering, well, what's the size of this, Joe? You're looking at 225 in the width and a meaty 60 series sidewall, which is gonna give you a nice comfy ride, whether you're on nice smooth pavement like this. That kind of hurts, like sandpaper, but also going off-road. That's what those nice thick sidewalls are gonna do for you as you're going down the road. Now, as we go down the rest of the side of this Outback, Onyx edition is gonna give us metallic black on the mirror caps. So that's matching the metallic black that's on that grille. You have some shiny, bright metal work, both top and bottom. I wish they would have blacked that out. Wouldn't that have made sense? Onyx, if you're going with black accents, black out this trim. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do get those classic high roof rails. Look at this, I can shake the whole Outback with my muscles, but you'll be able to put your cargo basket up there. You could get yourself some kayak holders, whatever you got. This is the perfect adventure lifted wagon. I even love the way they did the lower sill area. Also with that flat black, so it's gonna take a better beating, but it's got that classic location of the Outback name. Just really kind of blends all the different generations together to keep it looking like an Outback. Now, as we work our way towards the rear, you got a nice large size quarter window. And then as we kind of wrap around the back, talking about Onyx, you're gonna get a blacked out shark fin antenna up top. Nice low roof spoiler. It's got a nice little clean look to it. I wish they would take this wiper and tuck it underneath here to kind of just clean out the whole back glass, but you can see our unique style of taillight. This was all new for 2020, going into 2021. Blacked out on the badges, that's Onyx Edition. Outback XT, you got your Subaru badge, and then of course Subaru with that symmetrical all-wheel drive. You kind of drop down, look at this. Over 8 inches, 8.7 inches of ground clearance, and you don't have to worry about ripping your muffler off or tailpipe because everything is tucked up really nice and tidy. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood because we have an XT. T stands for turbo. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. The good news is that it's all the way over to the passenger side. The better news is, guess what? What was new for this redesign is a new turbocharged engine. You still could get the naturally aspirated flat 4, but our Onyx Edition has the 2.4 liter turbocharged flat 4. So you're looking at 260 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT, and you know how I feel about those, but the good news is you do have a simulated 8-speed automatic manual shift mode. 0 to 60, get ready to get up and go and be the first to get the kayaks in the water. You're looking at 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. MPGs, 23 in the city, 30 on the highway. You can tow up to 3,500 pounds with your Outback, the way that this one is optioned. And weight-wise, it comes in at 3,854 pounds. Now, I know some of you might be saying, well, Joe, what happened with the flat 6? Wasn't there a flat 6 you could get with the Outback? Yes, you are 100% correct. This is the engine to replace the flat 6. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to that interior, because if you thought the exterior has changed, the interior is gonna blow you away. All right, guys, we're inside the new Subaru Outback. This particular one, that Onyx Edition XT with the turbocharged power. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I never even thought that the Outback was a lifted wagon. It seems everybody calls it an SUV, but I am digging it. And I like the way it's different. I'm liking turbocharged power. How much is this particular one? MSRP Onyx Edition with the new infotainment system, which I can't wait to show you. You're looking at $37,750. Let's see what you get for the money. To the all-new door panels, you're gonna get soft touch material. What's interesting is that on the Onyx Edition, they went with this highlighter yellow-green color for the stitching. Kind of scratching my head about that, but I do like the way it brings a lot of color contrast. Also digging the way it's a light gray on the armrest, but as you can see, they went with white contrast stitching there rather than the green yellow. So still a little weird, but you know what? The materials definitely have been raised to a new level. A little bit of gloss black and a little bit of silver near the door handle to open up the door, and you have a small door pocket, large enough for a bottle of Coca-Cola. That's about it. Maybe a taco from Taco Bell. Just go light on the sour cream or you're gonna get that cream all over the place. Dash, same two-tone material, soft touch. You got the gray. I do like the stitching. They give you a Twinkie tray, so they know that Subaru fans love Twinkies. You could put about 3 or 4 Twinkies in there without making a mess. Love the stitch work. And then this is all new, started on 2020, has been brought to 2021. That is that 11.6-inch infotainment system. I love how up top you could slide through different features. You could get all your different readouts. It's 11.6 inches with that vertical display. You could go into different car settings, driving assistance. You have of course, all the safety features, and it's really easy to go back home. How about car info? Why not? Look at that. It actually shows the drivetrain of our Outback with the elevation changes and everything. Let me go ahead and throw it into reverse. I wish it was a larger screen. So just like maybe you've been told that the person wished it was larger, same thing. I'm wishing that this was just took up a little bit more real estate, and it is very, very grainy. So that's one thing. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the forward-facing camera. You hit a button right by the shifter. There is our forward-facing camera. I think I could see Bigfoot going through the woods there. That's about that. Now, radio controls, you do have actual knobs. The bad news is AC is all done through the infotainment system screen, except for changing the temperature. So it's a little bit on the slow side when reacting. You do have heated seats, but no ventilated seats. So that's gonna be a zonk for me, but you can also adjust the temperature that way as well. But you can see, if you haven't been in an Outback since 1995, Subaru has definitely raised the bar on the interiors. You do have your start-stop button. This is gonna control that CVT transmission. You do have the 8-speed automatic simulated shift mode, 2 USBs, an aux jack, and a cubby that's large enough, I would say, for 2 Twinkies. That's about it. You have 2 cup holders, and they're the larger kind, so you can get your super size Big Gulp or Slurpee. Love the soft material. They do soft material very well at Subaru, and then you lift this up, you have more storage area. Now what you could put in here is, let's say you're going to a baseball game, put your balls in here so you don't have to carry your balls in your hand, and you have a 12 volt, which is nice. Flip that back down, and then the seats, very, very soft. I love the material. There's more of that neon green stitch work, but I'm telling you right now, in a longer drive, you're gonna love these seats. Electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And speaking of the driver, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. You do have a standard size sunroof, which is nice, and a frameless auto dimming mirror. And this, of course, has that coveted, really well working eyesight technology from Subaru to keep you safe. And remember, you have 5 stars plus on the safety ratings. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Onyx edition Subaru Outback. All right, guys, business time behind the Subaru Outback. You have your electric seat controls, real easy to get to with that lower lumbar. That is nice. Of course, you're going to have a tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Good thickness. I like the leather. The buttons, it takes a while to get used to because they're really different than any other steering wheel that I've been behind the wheel of with other brands. But everything is flat black, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. You do have paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down that simulated 8-speed automatic. And then, like I was saying, it's a tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have a simplistic dash. You have an analog tach, analog speedometer, and that's about it, with a small digital display in the center. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the back seat and see how much space there is in this Outback. All right, guys, back seat time in the Outback, and guess what? It's real simple. There's no third row that you have to worry about. So what that means, you get to maximize your back seat interior space. Plenty of headroom. I didn't shrink. I'm still 6 feet tall, and I think I have more headroom in the back seat than I do up front. I like the way the same material goes all the way around the backs of the seats. Very, very large rear pocket. What you could put easily back here is a chocolate chip cookie cake. Just slide it right in there, and think about that on your journey. Your backseat passengers are just breaking off pieces of that nice, warm chocolate chip cookie cake. That sounds good right about now. But anyways, you do have rear AC vents. I do like the silver trim, just like up front. Heated, no ventilated, and then you do have 2 USBs, which is also a very nice touch. And like I was saying, I have my own pocket, so I could get my own cookie cake over here. Other than that, feels really good. What about the armrests? Nice height, 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to that cargo area and see what we could haul in this. All right, guys, time to get into the cargo area. You're just gonna hit the button right underneath the Subaru logo. You have a nice electric assist, and check it out. You can see the nice width that you have, the nice height in this lifted wagon. Of course, you have your security shade. I like the way Subaru has that all-weather matte protection that you get. Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, how much space do we actually have? With the rear seat up, you're looking at 32.5 cubic feet of space. With that rear seat down, 75.7 cubic feet of space. If you look over here, you have real easily accessible 12 volt. If you're camping, if you're tailgating, if you're out and about, you got a nice little cargo area net with some space for some Twinkies. A box of Twinkies will just drop in there. And my favorite part is how the seats go down. They have the handles, real nice. Pull both sides, and that's where you're gonna maximize your space in this Outback. Nice and flat all the way through. But you know what? It's one thing about hauling some stuff around, let's go ahead and haul some butt in our turbocharged Outback. All right, guys, we're in this new Subaru Outback. This particular one, the Onyx Edition XT with that turbocharged power, which means you're gonna have turbocharged fun. Right away, you just feel comfortable in this car. The seats are great. The amount of visibility almost in any Subaru is just straight up ridiculous how much visibility that you have. And that's what makes them great options if you're looking for that vehicle that's gonna keep you and your family safe. Having the all new 11.6 inch infotainment system is really nice. It's easy to get to. And you know, it may seem a little awkward at first because you have top scrolling features and then of course the AC controls at the bottom, but really it's not that big of a deal. The graphics are clear, and trust me, this is definitely a step above what other infotainment systems on previous generations of the Outback were all about. The center console, it's got your USB and everything. The one thing that this is missing, which is going to be a zonk, is no wireless cell phone charging. How can you have no wireless cell phone charging in a $37,000 vehicle is beyond me. But you do have the connectivity, which is important. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of mix. I'm gonna leave it in automatic, which is gonna be that CVT with the simulated shifts, and then we're gonna do the manual shift mode. But let's go ahead and do on throttle from a dead stop. On throttle, here we go. So you can hear those simulated shifts trying to bring down the revs. It's still very, very buzzy. So with CVT transmissions, if they don't have that computer generated simulated shift, the tachometer just stays pegged as you're on throttle. But the good news is the system does try to alleviate that. Still though, there is quite a bit of rev noise from the tach being pegged. But as we're driving down the road, super smooth, super comfortable. It's great that they've been able to figure out how to get symmetrical all-wheel drive that's full-time. This is not a vehicle like the competition where it's front-wheel drive and then it becomes all-wheel drive when there's slippage. You have full, all-time symmetrical all-wheel drive, which is great. And then your backseat passengers are gonna be just as happy as you are, even though they're in the back seat, because they got plenty of room. They have their connectivity. They have the rear AC vents, which is great as well. But from a roll, on throttle. So really, you're not waiting long for the boost to kick in. And when it does come on, it pours on big time. Nice to have that 0 to 60 right around 6 seconds flat. And then you also have all the safety features. I like what they've done with the eyesight system. It's a camera safety system rather than you know, using any kind of laser or radar or anything like that. So it's very, very effective. Plus, you don't have to worry about it getting dirty. If you get any mud on the windshield or dirt, you just clean it off with your windshield wipers. And the new eyesight system that they're using, much smaller, so you're not really even noticing it that it's there, which is great. But driving down the road feels good. Now to put it into manual shift mode, we're gonna take the shifter, pull it over towards the driver. So pull it towards you, the driver. Now you can shift manually with the paddles. You do have a gear indicator. So right now it's telling me I'm in 5th gear as I downshift. So that's really nice and smooth. 3rd, 2nd. Brakes work great. I'm telling you, it's nice because you can have your cake and eat it too. You're getting a lot more usability than a sedan, but you're not getting this big, ginormous vehicle like an SUV. It really does make great sense. All right, guys, I want to do another acceleration test from a roll, but we're going to slow down here. I'm in simulated 2nd gear, on throttle. So it definitely feels quicker as you're manually shifting through those simulated gears. It would be nice for them to just use a standard automatic transmission in this thing. Especially, I think that would even increase the ruggedness of the all-wheel drive system. Other good news, there's not a ton of gloss black in here. I mean, the screen is really large in the center, but other than that, it's just a little bit here and there, so you don't have to worry about too much glare that way. I guess maybe a panoramic sunroof would be a nice addition on top of the little other touches, like ventilated seats would be great at $37,000. So I let that one slip. I am gonna zonk that there's no ventilated seats. The good news is with the flat 4 engine, you're getting that lower center of gravity, which really helps with the handling and the road holding capabilities of this Outback. And like I said, I think you're gonna see the benefits of having a lifted wagon. It's a shame that there's not more vehicles like this Subaru Outback, but hopefully this gave you a great overall feel. Let's do a merging onto highway traffic situation here, and you can see the power of the turbocharged flat 4 engine that we have here. So when you gotta go, we go on throttle. Here we go. So very quickly you get up to speed, you can merge, you can get into your lane, and everything is good to go. And that's the benefit of having that turbocharged power rather than the naturally aspirated engine, which is still an option for the 2021 Outback. But we're gonna get back to our random parking lot and continue our journey here with this Outback and wrap it up. So I'll see you in a few seconds. All right, guys, been another great day with this Subaru Outback Onyx Edition with the XT turbocharged power. I definitely got to thank everybody over at Subaru USA for getting us access to this lifted wagon. This is exactly like I was saying, the way that I would go with an Outback. And to be honest with you, I'd rather go the Outback than a lot of other SUVs because the driving experience is a little bit more connected because you're not sitting up so high and you're getting tons of space. Plus, I'm not going to complain about turbocharged power, but if you want to keep seeing Outbacks and other lifted wagons on Rady's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, you should come back for some more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it out to Queen of the Camera. She's loving this Subaru Outback. She actually was telling me how much she loved just driving it around. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. Show her some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.